guys, welcome to DTTV with Sim. Today we're going to be looking at one of the final parts of the course for CAP. We're looking at you completing a kettle, jug, teapot, something on those sort of lines. As you can see here, you can see from the image that I've got is an original I found from the internet. And what I've done is I've used that to guide me through making my own kettle. And what I've done is I've tried to make sure that my kettle is as close to this as possible. As you can see, on this particular image we've got both a spout and we have a handle, and they're core requirements. If you don't produce a spout and a handle, then your model will not pass. Okay, so first of all we're going to have a look at what is acceptable and what's not. Now, as we've already talked about, you're looking for a kettle which has a spout and a handle. Now this one's got a top and it's got a base as well and a on-off switch button. The requirements for this actual particular model is that it has a spout and that it has a handle. Now, that said, the stuff you do should look similar to the original design. So as you've seen from the photograph, this one looks pretty close to it. I spent a bit of time sort of trying to push my skills to make sure that I did this a few years ago. So there's bits in this one which is actually omitted. So for instance, if you look at the Stanley knife, on the craft knife, you'll notice that there's sort of internal components, webs and screws and various other bits and bobs. This particular kettle doesn't go to that level of detail, but it's a really good test for your abilities. So this is the sort of thing that you're trying to aim for. I am not expecting necessarily it to be quite this quality. On the flip side, every year one or two students try to hand me in something that looks like this. Yes, there is a spout. Yes, there is a handle. It is so unbelievably simplistic and easy to make that it's a very low grade and therefore a fail. You'll notice within it there's a couple of things. First of all, we've got the spout is very square. All it is a series of basic bosses which have then just been cut and shaped. The simplicity of that is a bit low. Really, I'd be looking for a sweep. Equally, we've then got the extrude for the handle, which is a revolve. Whilst it's at an angle, it's a stick, and also it comes inside the main body. That would need to be cut off to make it into a proper piece that you can hand in. So back to the kettle. This is saved into the shared drive, so you have access to it. If you go to the shared drive, go to the kettle folder and open it up, you'll find that you've got all the component parts. The nice thing about this is that you can actually look at each individual piece as you go. So if I'm looking at the main body, you'll notice that on the screen it comes up in orange when I roll over it on the list features menu on the left. If I right click it, I have different options, one of which is open part and position. I click that one. What it does is it opens up just that component part, and you can see all the components that, or the different features that were used to make it. I can drag this blue line up, so I can look at the original revolve, so that was the original shape I started with, and then you can see stage by stage what I did is I moved my way through the process. You'll notice that I've added pieces on, and equally I can go to this and then I can have a look. If I right click and edit feature, I can look and see what I did to make that particular part. You should do exactly the same. You should work your way through the different component parts and the different models. The whole idea being that you understand how this is made and then you make your own version. As discussed, I'm not necessarily looking for it to be an exact replica of something from the internet, but do find something from the internet to start with. What that will do is that means that you won't have to spend time designing it yourself, and you're more likely to have a good outcome. So for instance, the original photograph of this, if you were to look at my model, it's not precisely the same. It's close enough. What I'm looking for is a good quality kettle with the key features within it, or it could be a jug as well, or we've had a teapot in the past, so something along those lines will pass you the course. What you do then is you create an orthographic drawing for it. It could be A3, it could be A4. Most people choose A4 because it's the cheaper option, and then you hand that in. Clearly you're going to need dimensions and it will need to be laid out correctly. One final thing, a popular mistake with this is that students don't pay any attention to the original size they make the first component part, and they end up making a kettle with the same size for Action Man. So really, really small. From that point of view, have a think about it, make it larger, or make it an appropriate size by planning how big you're going to do it from the start. Okay guys, good luck. If you've got problems and questions, then give me a shout. this should push you, so it shouldn't be the easiest thing you've done. So let's see some really nice stuff. Thanks for watching DTTV.